Have you ever thought that being a shinobi in the Naruto world isn't just about pulling out cool and stylish jutsu? There are some jutsu in this series that are so absurdly difficult that only a handful of people can master them. These jutsu not only require god-level chakra control, but also mental steel, merciless hard work, and sometimes life in return. But what makes it even more exciting is that each of these jutsu has a unique story and a very rigorous training regimen. In this video, we will discuss what jutsu are so difficult to learn that even super strong ninjas might not be able to do them. So, let's start with the first one. Why is Sage Mode one of the hardest jutsu to learn? It's not just another ninja technique, it's more like you're applying to be part of the universe, complete with terms and conditions. Basically, Sage Mode is about taking chakra from nature, which sounds really cool, but in reality is much more complicated. Nature's chakra is wild. If you can't control it and take the right amount, you'll instantly turn into a permanent frog and can't return to human form. Can you imagine how risky that is? Even Jiraiya, who is already god level, can't master this Sage Mode perfectly. He needed the help of 2 frog masters on his shoulder to screen the nature chakra so that he wouldn't take too much and immediately game over. Just imagine, a ninja of Jiraiya's caliber still needs a companion, let alone an ordinary ninja who can only throw shuriken. To make things even more difficult, Sage Mode is not only about chakra control, but also about total meditation. You have to be completely still, focused, and in sync with the world around you. If you're easily distracted or can't focus, forget it. That's why Naruto needed intense training at Mount Myoboku to master this technique, and that too after a lot of trial and error. And not all shinobi have the mental or physical strength to control this natural energy. For example, in Ryuchi Cave, where the snake version of Sage Mode is practiced, you'll be bitten by a giant white snake first. The bite is like a test that contains a large amount of natural energy. If you can survive, then you can continue training. But if you can't, well, get ready to be the snake's lunch. This is even the reason why Orochimaru, who is already known for his crazy experiments, never mastered Sage Mode. He realized that his body wouldn't be able to withstand that energy. Kabuto, on the other hand, can do it because he has extraordinary adaptability. Ginton, aka Dust Release, is one of the jutsu that is really difficult to learn. This is not a playful move, the level is above average. Ginton is a move that combines 3 natural elements at once: earth, wind, and fire. If you think learning just one element is already complicated, imagine having to combine these 3 elements into one move that can turn your target into dust. It's literally an existence-erasing move. But make no mistake, to get to that level, not just any ninja can understand it, let alone master it. The proof? Out of all the ninjas, there are only 2 people who can use Ginton, Mu and Inoki. And Inoki needed Mu's guidance to understand the mechanism. If you think it's easy, imagine having to manage 3 super different elements at the same time while staying focused so you don't get distracted, because the slightest mistake can fail. For example, this technique has to be formed into a 3-dimensional object like a cube or cone first, and that takes a lot of time. In addition, this technique varies depending on the initial shape of the structure being created. For example, when made in the shape of a cube, the structure has a relatively small blast radius, which minimizes damage. However, the cone-shaped version is enough to destroy an entire island. Why is Edo Tensei such a difficult jutsu to learn? It's a level of ninja technique that makes you dizzy. You see, Edo Tensei is actually a variation of Kuchiyose no Jutsu, but instead of summoning frogs, snakes, or regular summon creatures, you summon the spirits of the dead and infuse them into the bodies of living humans. This technique, first created by Tobarama Senju, was originally intended to summon the souls of the dead and turn them into warriors who couldn't die on the battlefield. And what makes it complicated is the mechanism. Not only do you need spells and chakra, but you also need to collect the DNA of the person you want to resurrect. And it's not an easy task, especially if the corpse has no clear whereabouts like Jiraiya, who drowned at the bottom of the sea, or Shisui, who disappeared without a trace. And the crazy thing is, unlike when they were alive, Edo Tensei seem to have almost unlimited stamina and can fight continuously like Kimimaro or Itachi, who are not exhausted or bothered by illness like when they were alive. Even Itachi doesn't look tired at all, even if he uses Mangekyo Sharingan over and over again for a day. And the controller can also increase the strength of the person who has been Edo tensioned, as happened to Madara. When Madara Uchiha was resurrected, his body was restored to its peak physical condition, where he retained the abilities he had only acquired in the last years of his life, and still had the grafted Hashirama Senju DNA, so he could still use the first Hokage's abilities. And to stop them, ordinary attacks are meaningless. To stop someone who has been Edo Tensei, then we can use Fuinjutsu like Sarutobi did, or directly force the controller to stop. Russen Shuriken is one of the most difficult jutsu to learn. According to Kakashi, this jutsu is almost impossible to learn. Even for a genius like him, Russen Shuriken is like an unfulfilled dream. But Naruto, the ninja boy with unlimited energy and steel determination, managed to create this move after successfully mastering Rasengan. To make Russen Shuriken, Naruto needed 2 shadow clones, one to help form chakra into a ball, the other to add the wind element. Well, when Naruto first used Russen Shuriken, he was immediately affected. Because he couldn't throw this jutsu yet, the attack hurt his own arm, to the point that Tsunade banned him from using this jutsu again and labeled it a kinjutsu. But wait a minute, the process wasn't that easy, bro. At first, Naruto couldn't throw Russen Shuriken. Now, after super hard training, which must have made him almost auto-burnout, he can only throw Russen Shuriken, and that can only be done when he is in Sage mode. Not to mention, this Russen Shuriken is very flexible. It can be adjusted in size from small to as big as a meteor, like when Naruto fought Zetsu. But that flexibility also makes controlling this move more difficult. You have to know when you need a small one for a quick attack, or when you need a big one to destroy an army. The wind blades of Russen Shuriken are not only sharp, but play on a cellular level. Kakashi can't even count the number of strikes this technique produces with his Sharingan. This attack can cut off the enemy's nerve pathways and chakra flow, leaving them completely paralyzed. But the important part of this jutsu is that Russen Shuriken requires a lot of chakra to perform. To use Russen Shuriken, Naruto consumes about 1/3 of his Sage Mode chakra. Why is Shiki Fujin aka Dead Demon Consuming Seal such a difficult jutsu to learn? If you don't know, it's not just about the technique, but rather the absurd level of price you have to pay to get this move out. First, you have to understand that this is the pinnacle of sealing jutsu, the ultimate move from the ancestors of the Uzumaki clan. This clan is like the professor of the seal department in the ninja world. No one beats them when it comes to creativity in making seal techniques. So from the beginning, their moves were god level. But Shiki Fujin is more than just an ordinary seal technique. It literally invites Shinigami to barter for your life. First of all, to perform Shiki Fujin, the user must perform a series of complicated hand seals that partially separate their soul from their body. And behind the user, Shinigami appears. After that, the Shinigami enters the user's soul, allowing the user to grasp the target's soul. Now, when you successfully grasp the target's soul, they can't do anything. To make things even more absurd, only 2 people are known to have successfully used this move: Hiruzen Sarutobi and Minato Namikaze. And as mentioned, they both died afterward. At that time, Minato used Shiki Fujin to seal Kurama's chakra. As for Sarutobi's case, he used Shiki Fujin to seal Orochimaru's soul. Now, but Sarutobi was only able to seal Orochimaru's hand because his physical strength was no longer as strong as before. This jutsu also has rules. The sealed soul enters the Shinigami's stomach to fight forever, so there is no concept of resting in peace. In addition, the only way to release the soul from Shinigami is using a special release technique, and that requires someone to slash their own stomach while wearing a Shinigami mask. And that's the list of jutsu that are very difficult to learn even by great ninjas. Of all these jutsu, which one do you like the most?